everybody. We need some folks over on this side. So if we could okay. Everybody, thank you so much for being here on short notice. We're gonna get started with some chanting, then we'll get started here in just a minute. I'm excited to be here with you all. I'm orienting myself. Thank you all so much for being here. Woo! We are all here today to stand with Mahmoud Khalil, who's a student at Columbia University who's been illegally detained. We are here to stand with our students here at the University of Oregon to stand for free speech and to stand against this illegal detention and attack on the Palestinian solidarity movement and the student movement here in the United States. We're going to start with some chanting. First one's really easy. Free Mahmoud Khalil. 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 This one, I say, we want justice, you say how. Next is hands off our students now, okay? We want justice, you say how. Hands off our students now. We want justice, you say how.
Hands off our students now.
We want justice, you say how.
Hands off our students now.
We want justice, you say how.
Hands off our students now.
We want justice, you say how.
Hands off our students now.
We want justice, you say how.
Hands off our students now.
We want justice, you say how.
Hands off our students now.
We want justice, you say how.
Hands off our students now.
We want justice, you say how.
Hands off our students now.
We want justice, you say how.
Hands off our students now.
We want justice, you say how.
Hands off our students now.
We want justice, you say how.
Hands off our students now.
We want justice, you say how.
Hands off our students now.
We want justice, you say how.
Hands off our students now.
This next one is we resist the occupation, we resist the deportations. You say we resist the deportations. We resist the occupation.
We resist the deportation.
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 We resist the occupation.
We resist the occupation.
We resist the occupation.
We resist the deportation.
This one's nice. This one's Carl Schultz, don't be a chump. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Carl Schultz, don't be a chump. If you're so great, stand up to Trump. Carl Schultz, don't be a chump.
If you're so great, stand up to Trump.
Carl Schultz, don't be a chump.
If you're so great, stand up to Trump.
Carl Schultz, don't be a chump.
If you're so great, stand up to Trump.
Carl Schultz, don't be a chump.
If you're so great, stand up to Trump.
Carl Schultz, don't be a chump.
If you're so great, stand up to Trump.
Carl Schultz, don't be a chump.
If you're so great, stand up to Trump.
Carl Schultz, don't be a chump.
If you're so great, stand up to Trump.
Carl Schultz, don't be a chump.
If you're so great, stand up to Trump.
Carl Schultz, don't be a chump.
If you're so great, stand up to Trump.
This one is UO administration don't allow for deportation. UO administration, don't allow for deportation. UO administration,
Don't allow for deportation.
UO administration,
Don't allow for deportation.
UO administration,
Don't allow for deportation.
UO administration,
Don't allow for deportation.
UO administration,
Don't allow for deportation.
UO administration,
Don't allow for deportation.
UO administration,
Don't allow for deportation.
UO administration,
Don't allow for deportation.
UO administration,
Don't allow for deportation.
UO administration.
Don't allow for deportation.
Free Mahmoud Khalil!
Free Mahmoud Khalil.
Free Mahmoud Khalil!
Free Mahmoud Khalil.
Free Mahmoud Khalil! Free Mahmoud Khalil! Free Mahmoud Khalil!
Free Mahmoud Khalil.
Free Mahmoud Khalil!
Free Mahmoud Khalil.
Free Mahmoud Khalil!
Free Mahmoud Khalil.
As I look out there today, I see students, I see faculty, I see staff, I see community members here. We are all here together to say that we stand against the illegal abduction of Mahmoud Khalil, who is a political prisoner being held in detention by the Department of Homeland Security and Immigration and Customs Enforcement. We stand with our students. We stand for their right to peacefully assemble and to free speech, and we stand against these attacks on the student movement.
Yeah.
Mahmoud Khalil was abducted from his home and is currently being held in ICE detention for doing what many students here at the University of Oregon have done. Mahmoud is being targeted for his advocacy against Israel's genocide in Palestine. This is an attack on free speech. This is an attack on due process. And this is an attack on student organizers. I want to invite Clover from Students for Justice in Palestine. Share some words with us.
Hello.
Hi, Clover.
I'm Clover, and I wanted to say that they want to make an example out of Mahmoud Khalil because they know that I can see many comrades I work with in his eyes. I see passion, dedication, cause, all of the hard, important work, reflective, all of my comrades through him. And they deeply want me to fear that. This administration wants me to watch Mahmoud's violent repression and have it snuff out my own passion, dedication, and cause. They want to break all our spirits. They want us to look at this example and abandon the hard, important work. They want us to succumb to the fear. Thankfully, I know my comrades, my community, and myself. So I know this attempt at a power play is a pitiful one. And the only thing that will happen to us when we look at this unlawful kidnapping of Mahmoud is we will get louder and we will get stronger. We will only fight harder together, and we sure as hell won't start getting scared of these fucks now. In fact, the only thing I see coming from a fascist escalation like this from our government is an even stronger escalation from the people. I will never accept such a blatantly unconstitutional repression of free speech. I will never accept the terrorization of immigrants in this country. I will never, ever accept a world without a free Palestine, a free Congo, a free Sudan, a free Haiti, a free fucking world. Because of that, I will never stop the fight, no matter what new fascist bullshit they do next to try and scare us. Free Mahmoud Khalil, thank you.
Hands was going to read us some poems.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got it.
Is that better? There we go. Cool. What to say about the present moment? Other than fuck this shit. In a poetic way. What can I say? I have no words. But somehow I must conjure the ghosts of past revolutions, of martyrs blessed, that I am not alone, that we are not alone, that history shows solidarity is never a lost battle, never a wasted breath. What is displacement? What is death? What is courage in the face of a fascist state? What are we but the masses seething for justice, not just for you, dear Mahmoud. We have not forgotten the flame of Hind Rajab, nor the spear of Sinwar, nor that Palestinian youth who beat his bloody chest and proclaimed for all the world to hear, "We are the champions, we are Gaza. Gaza is this small, and the world cannot defeat it." Dear Mahmoud, hunted by fascists your whole life, an accidental freedom fighter. I wish the world were not so cruel and racists so powerful and so utterly depraved and weak. I wish you didn't have to leave your beloved Syria. But when, dealing with the dregs of humanity, we find ourselves fighting for justice against ICE, against Zionist cowards who hide behind bureaucracy and corrupt laws, we must stand tall. We must be counted and be bold. For if truth be told, what's to stop ICE from tearing through our community, snatching up our comrades? What's to stop them from snatching you or me? One word: unity. Say it with me: unity. Let that word be our shield. The power you yield with it can change worlds, can free the bludgeoning prisons, can smash the fascist state and its heartless lackeys. Remember, the fight to dismantle Zionism has been raging for more than 70 years, and we must not see its demise, and we may not see its demise with our eyes, but the struggle to liberate Turtle Island and Palestine carries on like a tornado that silently gathers force. May we perceive the gravity of this moment and gather courage from one another. Bring dear Mahmoud Khalil home to be with his 8-month pregnant wife. From the river to the sea, Palestine
will be free.
And when they come for us, don't film it. Burn for justice. Remember, Hind was shot 364 times. Remember the tortured doctors and babies left to die in unplugged incubators. Burn for this nightmare to end, to free your friend who spoke truth to power, who chose not to cower in fear, not to hide or disappear, not to despair, but with his whole chest to care against a grotesque foe who has no low, a depraved goon whose demise can only come too soon. So when the anvil of injustice smashes through our town, grab a brick before you take a pick and throw it at the prisons, where all prisoners are political. Free
Free Mahmoud Khalil.
Free them all.
Free them all.
Fuck ICE.
Fuck ICE.
Thank you.
Thank you.
New one. When immigrants are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
That's right. Next, we're going to hear from Emily. Woo! Everybody welcome Emily.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared to go yet, so give me a moment.
You're doing great. All good.
Okay, I'm actually gonna trade arms. I guess.
Okay, how's this?
Okay, hello. I'm Emily. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a member of the GTFF, very proud member. Our graduate labor union here at the university. I'm also a member of Graduates for Palestine. And equally important, I think, I'm a student in political science and I teach in the WGS department, Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. So, as I stand up here today, I wanted to say a bit about why we're here. First, we're of course here to call for the release of political prisoner Mahmoud Khalil. Second, we're here to demand that the UO administration ensure that they will not comply with ICE nor the Trump administration.
Right.
And third, we're here to ask our campus unions to stand in solidarity with us in getting this reassurance from our administration. And again, I see very many GTFF faces, and that makes me so incredibly happy to have so many of my comrades here. So yes, to be clear, this is the bare minimum that the UO can offer us to make sure that its students and workers are protected from a fascist government. But just as I taught my students yesterday, standing up for something doesn't mean just standing up against what is unjust or just saying what is unjust. It also means learning about why that injustice happened. This leads me to my second point. We're here today because our university administration let this happen. For over a year, the UO administration has increasingly policed its student activists, labor leaders, faculty, and workers, and this policing has disproportionately affected those organizing against and teaching about the ongoing genocide in Palestine, particularly students of color. By targeting student and labor leaders, UO administration has attempted to create a culture of fear on our campus. It has tried to normalize regressive policies regarding student and worker protest, including banning all amplified sound unless authorized. Threatening code of conduct violations and expulsions against those who rightfully protest against genocide. And by encouraging students and faculty alike to report anyone who teaches political content in their classrooms. As somebody who studies political science, I find that policy in particular very confusing. What am I supposed to teach my students?
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Thank you.
This culture on our campus is exactly why my fellow workers called the university on its bullshit when it said that it would protect international, undocumented, and DACA students. The university told us that we can trust them because the law protects us. This is exactly what they will say to our trans comrades in the coming weeks. Don't worry, the law is on our side. But the university changed our rules on campus as soon as they didn't like what we were doing.
Doesn't that sound a bit familiar? Doesn't that sound exactly like what Trump is doing?
That's right. Yeah.
What we must understand is that the law only protects us if we demand it, if we fight for it.
There you go.
More and more, Trump is pushing on the bounds of what is normal in this country to see what he can get away with. And if he gets away with deporting Mahmoud, just as he is threatened, then it will be certain that the law is no longer a buffer between us and fascism. By continuing to passively wait for ICE to come onto our campus, for the police to take down our protesters, the university administration continues to participate in this backlash against student protesters. And let's be clear, we mean protesters who fight for Palestine. At this point, you're probably asking, or at least I hope that you are, what can I do? What can we do? How do we protect ourselves? And how do we fight back? These are crucial questions, but as much as we understand how our administration's actions have led us here, we must understand that resistance is not a one-day project, especially not to be done in an hour or two.
Yep. True.
I encourage you, find a group to organize with. We are incredibly lucky to be in a community full to the brim with active political and community organizations who are fighting for justice even when there isn't an active crisis. And many of its members are here today and helped us to organize this protest on such short notice. So I say, first of all, thank you to all of the community organizers here, community members here, who have set this wonderful precedent for us to follow as student protesters. But for the rest of us, please talk to somebody, introduce yourself, ask what you can do. It's not up to you alone to save the world, but you can't help if you're on your own. Thank you for being here today, because this is that first step. When the systems we have come to rely on begin to crumble, we only have each other. But those bonds can be stronger than anything you may have known before because you have to fight for them. You have to prove over and over and over again that you're willing to put your comfort on the line to protect the people in your community. This is what I'm asking you to do, not just today, but every day. Get out of your comfort zone, get connected, and impress yourself with how much you're capable of. This is your fight. This is my fight. We're in this together. Solidarity forever.
Safety reasons, so there's safety, for security reasons, thank you. Just come up a little bit further, get in here, pretend like we like each other, fill in all the available space, please, thank you. Woo! We also want to make sure we're stronger together, right? I want to call your attention, there are some folks, and maybe they could raise their hand or make themselves known. There are some folks that have some QR codes. With letters demanding the release of Mahmoud Khalil that you can sign if you haven't already. Looks like we have someone here with a QR code, and I know we've got over here someone with a QR code, so please connect with folks if you haven't signed those yet. I think this morning it was like 2.5 million people, which is really... We can get it to 3, I think, by the end of the day. We can get it to 3. So you should sign it, and you should send it to 5 other people to sign. Letters are not going to save us, though, right? Like, we know that. We have to continue to be out here together. And part of that means, as was said, being uncomfortable. My name is Kaylee. I didn't introduce myself. I jumped right in. My name is Kaylee. I'm a faculty member here at the University of Oregon in the College of Education. I'm a proud member of United Academics and a proud member of University of Oregon Faculty and Staff for Justice in Palestine. And I just want to make something clear. I'm talking into amplified sound right now, right? Yeah. I would love nothing more than for the folks that work in this building to send me an email, kbron, K-B-R-O-N, @uoregon.edu, explaining to me how I'm violating university policy for expressing my First Amendment rights, for exercising standing in the exact place that I am standing, doing the exact same thing that I'm doing right now. Over a dozen students at our university have been targeted by this administration with code of conduct violations, with threats of suspension and expulsion, which would mean for international students, deportation. We demand the freedom of Mahmoud Khalil, and we demand that our university and its complicity in building and manufacturing consent for deporting our own students.
Fuck that shit.
Our students have exercised, as has been said, their rights under the First Amendment. This is an attack on free speech. This is an attack on due process. This is an attack on the student movement, and we have to stand together. I'm going to invite Cameron from the Lane County Immigrant Defense Network to talk a little bit about how we can get involved locally.
Get ready for some shit, man.
All right, thank you for that, Kaylee. So my name is Cameron Stringfield. I'm with the Lane County Immigrant Defense Network. I'm also with the Eugene pre-branch for the Party for Socialism and Liberation. And just really quickly, I want to explain that out in New York, where Mahmoud Khalil was abducted illegally by ICE, it took no time for the PSL to mobilize thousands of people into the streets of New York City to protest that illegal abduction by ICE. Around the country, since Trump was elected, we've been mobilizing to protect immigrants all over this nation. In Aurora, Colorado, in Texas, in Los Angeles, in New York, etc. There is no way in hell that we are going to let Trump take our neighbors and send them back to another country or to Guantanamo Bay or any place that he wants to send them. Here in Lane County, we've spearheaded a project called the Lane County Immigrant Defense Network. What we are doing is we are building the foundation for a rapid response network. We are organizing amongst our immigrant neighbors to let them know what their rights are, to let them know that we are going to stand up for them. And that includes our immigrant neighbors here on campus, our foreign students. There is, again, no way in hell that we are going to allow ICE to come in here and take foreign students at U of O and deport them. So let me go ahead and explain what the Lane County Immigrant Defense Network does. So far, we've started a signal group where at some point when it becomes a rapid response network sort of thing, we'll be able to put calls in there for people who are trained to go and address that. Right now, we've been building the foundation for that and having organizing meetings to get people organized to go ahead and take these flyers. Let me just grab one real quick. These flyers that have this number on them to report suspected activity to ICE. And if you want, if you have a phone or you have a piece of paper, I'd like you to write that number down. That number is 888. Kaylee, can you point it towards me so I can see it? 622-1510. That's 888-622-1510. This is the number that will connect you to the ICE hotline so that they can get trained people to respond to these calls and document what's happening so that these immigrants are defended to the best of our capabilities. It is important that we do not just go onto social media, onto places like Reddit and Facebook to say, oh, I think I spotted ICE somewhere. There's a lot of paranoia and hysteria going around right now. We don't want to cause more fear for our immigrant neighbors. So please, if you see ICE and they are maybe raiding a place or they're questioning somebody or you just spot them somewhere, call that hotline and that will get the right people to respond to it. We also have been passing out quarter sheets that have the QR code to the Lane County Immigrant Defense Network Toolkit. And there, you can find that flyer. You can find those quarter sheets themselves. You can find red cards. Those red cards are great for our immigrant neighbors, but they're great for all of us because they remind us of our rights. They remind us that they need a warrant if they want to arrest or deport us, that you should ask if you're being detained, the simple know your rights stuff that maybe all of us have been learning all along, but it's good to have that on you so that you know in the moment what to do.
Yeah, that's right.
And I want to go ahead and also, by the way, recently, Tom Homan, the ICE fuck, he got up there on the national news and said, these activists across the country, these well-educated activists, they've been making it so hard for us to deport people because they're teaching people their rights. They're trying to help them to avoid arrest. Well, damn right we're helping them to avoid arrest. They're illegal arrests. We don't want our neighbors deported. So yes, knowing your rights is avoiding arrest. In the Lane County Immigrant Defense Network, and I hope that you would, then you can come to our next meeting, which will be on Wednesday, March 26th at 6 p.m. at the Eugene First Christian Church on Oak Street. And you can find more updates about that on PSL Eugene's Instagram at PSL Eugene. And just lastly, before I give it to the next speaker, I want to say I'm not a student here. I'm a community member. And I want to hear from the people in Eugene here. Are you going to let ICE deport your neighbors here in Eugene or the students here at this university? Hell no! Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks, I think we need some chanting, right? Free Mahmoud Khalil! 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 I can't hear you! Free Mahmoud Khalil! 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 Next, we're going to hear from Chris from Faculty and Staff for Justice in Palestine. Everybody give it up for Chris.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I am a member of Faculty and Staff for Justice in Palestine. I'm also the Executive Director for Higher Education for SCIU 503. And I am a member of the Pathway Oregon program here on campus. So I am speaking today to express my outrage and disgust at the disappearing of Mahmoud Khalil by ICE agents at the behest of the Trump regime. This student activist with an 8-month pregnant wife was taken from his home that was provided by the university in the dead of night and eventually transported all the way to Louisiana to an ICE detention center.
Test. Wrong way. Test.
Better? These actions actions are reminiscent of Pinochet's Chile, the Shah's former regime in Iran, and Donald Trump's first term when feds grabbed George Floyd protesters off the streets and threw them into unmarked vans and arrested them. And amidst all of that, our university would rather nickel and dime the unions that are in bargaining right now than commit to keeping our students safe. We have anti-trans and Zionist speakers given free range to espouse whatever hate-filled garbage they would like to say at our university, but when we have students protesting that, they are physically accosted by this administration and made to leave. I want each of you to understand today that sides have been picked, whether you know it or not. The worst people who have all conspired to make your lives miserable are in lockstep together.
That's right.
But I have good news, because they are not here right now and right here. You know who is here right now? Your neighbors, your friends, the people that love you, and the people that care about you. And you know who those people are? Those people are Palestinians, those people are immigrants, those people are trans, and those people are not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere. We will not leave. We will outlast all of these fascist dictatorships that will be relegated to the dustbins of history. Long live the workers, long live the fighters, long live Palestine.
Yeah, baby.
Chris nailing it as always. How about, we resist the occupation, we resist the deportations. We resist the occupation.
We resist the deportation.
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 Next, I want to invite some SJP student leaders to come up and share.
Hi everybody, my name's Fia. I'm an organizer with SJP. I'm also one of the students with a conduct code against them, so boo on that. I'm here to speak today because obviously this is not only a turning point but a moment of realization for a lot of people of the direction that we are steadfastly going in as a country. Mahmoud Khalil has Palestinian descent, and that is the only reason that he was arrested. He was not doing anything different from any of his fellow students. He was utilizing his First Amendment right to free speech on a campus that he paid to attend to, and they arrested him simply because of his heritage. This is fascism, point blank. You cannot sugarcoat it. We live in a fascist country now. And this is going to continue to happen. And if it doesn't happen to you now, it will later. Because they're not knocking on your door now does not mean that you're safe. And siding with them will never ever protect you. And we all know that. That's why we're here. Woo! But I want to talk about Palestine really fast as an SJP member. sorry, where Mahmoud and my family and Selim's family all come from, this fascism is very plain to see. Israeli soldiers take over water supplies, villages that have been standing since eternity, and they cut out indigenous practices of foraging for za'atar. They colonize the different herbs to make them Israeli herbs. And this is exactly what we see, not coming to this country, but born here. This is where it started, on Turtle Island, with the massacre of indigenous peoples, with the Trail of Tears, with the history that we always seem to forget when we talk about how beautiful and great this nation is.
That's right.
It was here, it has always been here, and it has been allowed to grow by the people in charge, and that is the issue. What we need to do as the people is stand up against it as strong as we can, especially in this moment. As fascism grows, our movement grows, and that's where our power is. Thanks everybody for being here. I think I'm inviting Selim up next, right? Yes, okay. Thank you, and Free Palestine.
My bad, guys. I don't usually prepare stuff. Is this? Can you hear me in the back? Cool. All right. Well, just to reiterate, in case it wasn't clear enough, a couple days ago, 3 days ago specifically, Mahmoud Khalil, a Palestinian graduate student at Columbia, was abducted by state thugs on the basis of doing what we're doing here today. Everyone here has already talked about it, but my phone is closing. All right. Mahmoud Khalil is a political prisoner. Advocacy for Palestine is not a crime, and we must continue to show our support for those kidnapped by the state and as a popular movement to prevent further repression.
That's right.
We cannot allow any more abductions of people by ICE to continue happening at all. An attack on one is an attack against all. The state is on a rampage, targeting some of our most vulnerable first. Mahmoud desperately made appeals to his school because of how much he feared his current situation, and they ignored him. Shame! One day later, Department of Homeland Security raided his home and abducted him in front of his wife, pregnant with their child.
Shame!
Complicit. Let this remind all of us, we keep us safe. Now is the time to stand up to fascism and to not allow state kidnappings of people to continue.
Yeah.
The global movement for Palestinian liberation is being targeted because we have strength. We on campus threaten the imperialist powers that exist, and now is the time to strengthen, broaden, and mobilize our movement in defense of a liberated Palestine.
That's right.
We as a mass are capable of mounting a legitimate opposition to fascism, and we, as a prominent part of the masses who fight for a future that is free of subjugation, have been doing it for decades. We all must understand that these tactics of repression can expand unless they are met with a fierce, popular movement against this attempt at a fascist crackdown. In these times, we all have to remember that it's most important to build coalition and community with each other, maintain the relationships that we have, and grow them anew. That is what will keep our popular resistance steadfast. We have to meet the moment. We have to escalate. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Free Palestine, free Mahmoud Khalil. From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
Palestine to Mexico, these border walls have got to go! From Palestine to Mexico!
Thank you all so much for being here today. Really want to highlight what has already been said, which is saying, get involved. This action, look around you. How many people are here? This was organized in like 12 hours, right? We were texting people, emails. It was chaos. But this was organized in 12 hours. Imagine what could be organized in a full 24 hours. Or even a couple days, right? I know, I'm excited. So what I'm saying is stay involved, get plugged into networks, get plugged into the Lane County Immigrant Defense Network for some local calls to action to be able to be a part of rapid response. Like, let's say that these spineless cowards that work in this building allow our students to be arrested or deported. What are we going to do about it? We're going to be right here. We're going to mobilize. When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up like that.
When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up like that.
When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up like that.
When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up like that.
Free Mahmoud Khalil!
Free Mahmoud Khalil. 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 Free Mahmoud Khalil.
Thank you all so much for being here today, as I already said. Please get plugged in, get organized. This is the time, right? This is the first of attacks, the first of many attacks on our students and on this movement to come. And it is our responsibility to stand strong and stand together. We will not be intimidated. We will not be silenced. We will not be defeated. In our thousands, in our millions, we are all
Palestinian.
In our thousands, in our millions.
We are all Palestinian.
In our thousands, in our millions.
We are all Palestinian.
In our thousands, in our millions.
We are all Palestinian.
Can't hear you. In our thousands, in our millions.
We are all Palestinian.
In our thousands, in our millions.
We are all Palestinian.
In our thousands, in our millions.
We are all Palestinian.
In our thousands, in our millions.
We are all Palestinian.
That's right. Woo! Build community, get involved, free Palestine. Woo! And that's it. Be safe going home. Buddy systems. Or back to worker class.
Join your unions!
Anybody need the QR code on your way